Hey guys, I'm Tiago and welcome to Classical Controllers, where I plan to review controllers basically on every single platform. And today we have a controller a lot of people are very excited about. This is going to be the 8BitDo Ultimate 2 wireless controller. Now, there is a previous Ultimate 1, but this one has a lot of really cool stuff going for it. And at $59.99, is this the new budget king? So let's take it out of the box. I've been playing with it. So now we got this box, pretty straightforward unboxing. You can see here, nothing really too crazy. I'm going to tell you what it comes with. Basically, just some paper. You can chuck that, don't need it. USB-C cable to USB-A. It probably need it, but we can chuck it too. Okay, the first cool thing is going to be a dock, and it does come with a little plastic here. Whoop, you can chuck that. So I really like the dock because I like to display the controller and have somewhere to charge, and it also doubles as the little port. We're going to be talking about all the features on this controller, and if you should buy it is going to be really at the end of the conclusion. See right there? You have a really nice little USB thing. You can pull it out, pop it right into your computer. USB-C. I have other ones. The older ones were USB-A, so that's kind of cool. If you don't have USB-C on your gaming PC or your laptop, then I'm sure you can find an adapter or just use this thing if you don't want to plug it in directly. But that's pretty cool because this acts as your charging base as well as your 2.4 gigahertz connection, which, by the way, you can get up to 1,000 hertz polling rate, which is, pretty cool. This thing also does Bluetooth. So then, obviously, the star of the show is going to be the controller itself that's in this little bag here. So let's pull this out, and that's how it looks like. I actually bought the purple one. I bought this directly from 8BitDo. They do have it on Amazon as well. I'm going to put the links down below. While you're there, remember to subscribe. Smash that like button. If you like controller reviews, this channel is going to be only controller reviews. I'm not going to go review something else that has nothing to do with it. Controllers, Xbox, PlayStation 4, 5, the Switch, PC. Throughout the video, you're going to be hearing me click a lot because I like clicky controllers. Like I am obsessed with the clickies, and this one is pretty clicky. So let's start with some of the big features here. Let's start to talk about the face. So obviously, you get this purple color here. It's going to have TMR sticks. That's going to be one of the biggest selling points. So that means you're not going to get stick drift. It's often going to be a more precise way. It uses less power internally on the controller itself. TMR is basically what every controller that's on like the bleeding edge of tech is coming with nowadays. I'm also going to put the gamepad tester up as you hear me talk about it, so that way you can see how the circularity is, how it goes right back to center. So that's going to be basically how that looks like. And now the thumbsticks are fine. Nothing special. They are removable. See, I just popped one out. And then you can go and put it in if you want to use different ones, different heights and things like that. So you can swap them around, which is very cool. And one just fell. 1 second. Okay, we have the thumbstick. Actually, this has happened before. You got to really snap it back into place. Okay, so the face of the controller, very similar to an Xbox controller, and this one, it's not a Switch version. This is going to be for PC, going to be for Android. So this one isn't like a Switch version. I know they've had Switch versions and other PC versions before. So this is basically meant for Windows and Android. So here you can see the face looks a lot like an Xbox controller. Your buttons and these are membrane buttons. No micro clicky triggers here, unfortunately. See, this is how they sound like. Very similar to an Xbox controller. Really not that far off at all. They're fine. They're good. I really like clicky buttons. So for me, they're going to be like right in the middle. It's nothing to write home about, but they're very responsive. I don't think you're going to have any performance issues at all. They just sound a little clanky, a little loud. You can hear that. When you hear a micro switch, this is the bumper now. Look how much nicer that sounds. And then this is So, that's one thing. It would have been nice to have this be a little bit more tactile, but they're still fine. And they look like Xbox buttons. Nothing much to talk about there. And then you do have the different, the menu button here. You're going to have basically similar to what you would have with an Xbox controller, just a few extra buttons. And now when we get to the D-pad, The same thing. It's a membrane D-pad. It's not going to be a clicky or a micro switch. The D-pad is a little bit vague. It's not the most accurate thing in the world. Like some of the D-pads with like the micro switches are much more not only tactile, but they feel more accurate. This one's a little mushy, a little vague, so not necessarily the best. Like for example, the Xbox stock controller has a much more tactile and much louder too D-pad. So I mean, this one's okay. So that's basically the face membrane buttons and membrane D-pad. Nothing too special so far. That's kind of like for 60 bucks. I don't know. It could have been, I've seen controllers that are $50 and they have a little bit nicer buttons, but it's really nice that it has TMR. It's not Hall effects, it's TMR. So that's a really nice inclusion here. So let's head over to the top where it gets a little more interesting. The bumpers. Now we're talking my language. Very, very nice. Now, obviously, these are better than an Xbox, stock Xbox controller bumpers, even though those are good. You got a little micro switch in there, and the actuation is very, very rapid, very fast. I really like that. Really like the bumpers. So far, by far, it's my best, my favorite sort of tactile feature on the controller itself. Which, by the way, the whole thing feels extremely ergonomic, like no complaints there. So I'd say 10 out of 10 for the ergonomics. Definitely a very comfortable controller. So as we move on from the bumpers, let's talk about these triggers here. You can hear they're not as clicky as the bumpers, but they are clicky, and you're also going to have a little switch in the back. So here, you're going to have the full bumpers, and with that, I hit the RGB lights. We're going to talk about that too, because with the aesthetics, these look really, really cool. Look at that. When I hit the bumper, you see that? You see the light? I don't want to get distracted here. I'm like a squirrel with lights and clicking this. Oh my goodness. But that's what controllers do to you if you let them, get in your brain. But this is what the triggers sound like normal, and you get the full actuation if you're playing a racing game or something like that. Fantastic. They feel okay, a little noisy, nothing too refined. I've heard better. If you do, and now you have a much shorter distance, and of course, the light show is still on there. Depending on which button that you press. Now, this is going to be the bumpers. The light goes on top. This is a good demonstration of also the RGB lights. So when the triggers are in their short actuation for like an FPS game, like Call of Duty or something, if you're not going to play a racing game, they're good. I mean, they're tactile. They're not as good as the bumper. Bumper remains my favorite part of the controller, but they're fine. They're like just a tact switch or something like that, so it's not too bad. And if you want the full actuation or one and the other a little different, you can do that as well. You have your L4 and your R4 and just little buttons, and these are actually really satisfying. So these are kind of like in second place to the bumper. They're just smaller. So if you wanted to use this as a quick shot trigger or something like that, I'm sure you could remap your buttons. But that's really cool. That is a nice feature to have. Some of the other controllers have it, like the Razer Wolverine Pro V2. It has that little extra little mini bumper, if you will, or that the little impact button there. So that's certainly a good feature if you want to have that as well. And as we go back down, then here you can swap between Bluetooth and 2.4 gigahertz, which of course you're going to have to use this, with the little dongle inside, the USB dongle. And that's how it fits perfectly. And it's going to charge it. There's a USB-C in on the back, and you plug it to your computer or a power charger. It doesn't come with a power charger, but a lot of people have them already. So the other big thing in the back are going to be the buttons. Now, these sound really good. They're kind of like in between the triggers and the bumpers in terms of the tactile feedback and the sound. And they name them PR and PL. I don't know why. Obviously, it makes sense, I guess, for them. Sometimes you'll see M1 or button 1 or M2, but this is going to be PL and PR. Well, I don't know. It's fine. And that's what it sounds like. And obviously, you can map it to any of the face buttons and any of the buttons. So that's pretty much the back. You can see here too, that's just how it connects to the charger with a 3-pronged system. So should you buy this controller? I mean, it is 60 bucks. You do have a lot of competition, like from GameSir, the Cyclone 2 is really good, and it's a little bit cheaper. It has more tactility, if you will, to the controller itself. It also has a little charging stand. I guess 8-bit though, you maybe pay a little bit of a premium for the name. You know, they sell it at Best Buy. The build quality is certainly exceptional, really nice. The RGB implementation is very refined and elegantly done. I really like that. I do wish they had focused a little bit more, this being the Ultimate 2 controller, on some of the features to truly make it ultimate, like, you know, clicky micro switch face buttons. These are like, I don't really like them. The D-pad is a little bit too soft and vague. I don't like it too much either. The bumpers are fantastic. The triggers, they're halfway there, but they're really not that great. You know, they're kind of like a 75% or a 7 out of 10. And then the back buttons are good, very low profile, but they actuate very easily. The ergonomics, 10 out of 10, and visually, it does look really beautiful with this purple color. So overall, it's a very attractive controller, but should you buy it for $60, you may want to look at the GameSir Cyclone 2, which I am going to review next as well. I have it waiting here. It's a great controller, so subscribe for that. There is the Nixie Master P1 that I like the triggers on that a little bit better, and it is a little bit cheaper than this as well. It's usually under 50 bucks. You do get the nice charging dock with this. It is a good package overall, but for an ultimate controller, it certainly doesn't blow me away. So if you like 8-bit though, and you've used it before, and you don't mind sort of the membrane buttons, and you're okay with the D-pad being a little mushy, you do get some nice features. You know, it is a very fast 1000 hertz response rate controller. When you're playing with a USB dongle, it has the extra bumpers. The bumpers sound great. You have the adaptable triggers, Hall effect sticks. So it certainly has a lot of good going for it. It's just not a home run necessarily. 60 bucks is a lot of competition now. I mean, for a little bit more, you can even get, you know, the Fly Digi Vader 4 Pro, which is excellent. I'm also going to review that coming up, but that's obviously more expensive. But overall, this is a good controller, but it's certainly not an ultimate controller. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you've gotten one, what your opinion is, what makes a great controller for you, and I'll see you guys on the next video.